So you know the ones when you're listening to a song that you really like and you're like, that's my tune.
That's my tune.
Hello, I'm Jojo B and this is That's My Tune, the podcast providing song reviews and interviews. Today I'll be having a chat with Karl Nova, hip-hop artist, educator and author. We'll be discussing his song, It's Not Always That Deep. So enjoy this laid-back groove and I'll be back to talk with the man himself. And remember, if you're listening via YouTube, the link is in the description box. I'll be back. So everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Karl Nova. Hey!
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. No problem. Of course I had to have you on, you get me?
Yes, of course. I'm like, that's my tune. I need to be part of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Cool. So let's get right into it. So you have a song called It's Not Always That Deep. So tell me what inspired you to write that song.
Okay, so it's so funny, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I heard this really cool beat on a random song I found on YouTube. You know how you find a random song by somebody you don't know and you've never heard of? And that's my vibe. I like that kind of soulful, jazzy kind of feel. Yeah. So I started making the beat because I heard that beat, but then I've been listening to a lot of drill patterns, you know, UK drill patterns. If you know UK drill and you've ever heard a standard UK drill beat, you know. So I started making the beat and I was like, all right, so it's got a soulful, jazzy thing with a drill edge or something. So what am I going to put on this? What am I going to talk about? Right. So I was just sitting at home like, what am I going to say? And then I just started saying to myself over the beat, it's not always that deep. Yeah. Sometimes it is. And I started thinking, because we're all on social media. Yeah. And sometimes on social media, you know, you end up getting wound up or trolled by somebody. You could just post a simple post of, I just love this juice now. This juice is my thing. It's my vibe. And then somebody be like, what are you trying to say about all the other juices? I'm trying to say that they're trash. And I'm like, nah, bruv. I'm just saying I like this juice. Can I just say what I like sometimes?
Right, exactly.
Is it okay? So that's where I was writing from. I was like, it's not always that deep, guys. It's not always that deep. But then on the flip side, sometimes it is. So for example now, the recent news I've heard, which is so sad, I guess it's on my mind. It was the unfortunate shooting of all these kids in school. Oh, boy. And you know how it is, you just start checking the news, you get the stories, the names of these precious children. Yeah. So that's the flip side. It's not always that deep, but sometimes it is. And that one, so that was the whole idea of the song. And then I was traveling to Switzerland as part of what I do. I guess we'll talk about that at some point. Yeah. But as part of what I do as a hip-hop artist, poet, author. So I was going to Switzerland and I was like, I want a new tune that I'm going to use when I'm performing out there. Yeah. So I just made the tune in one day, knocked it together, made the little lyric video myself. This was all in a rollout of 48 hours and I just put it out there, you know.
Wow. So you're a pretty self-sufficient guy.
Well, you see, in these times we're in, if you are able to do certain things yourself, and you can learn and you can do it to a quality, because it still has to be good. I now make my music myself. It wasn't always the case before. Okay. And I still have people who shoot videos for me. But then sometimes it's like I haven't got the time to go shoot a video. It's just long sometimes. So I can make a good lyric video myself. Right. Yeah. So so what made you transition from, like, say, working with music producers to now deciding to produce for yourself, and how long have you been producing for yourself as opposed to working with other producers? So my musical journey is interesting. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people who know my name or who might know me might know I was in a group called GK Real back in the day. Yeah. And So the whole blueprint of that group is that we're collective, but we're also still individuals that can do our own thing.
Okay.
Kind of like Wu-Tang Clan or So Solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is. You're a crew, you're a collective, but you're an artist in your own right. So I always knew the run of that group would kind of come to an end or something. Yeah. And lo and behold, it happened. We had a great run. We were popping in them days. Yeah. And then, the leader of the group just called us together and was like, all right, we're going on a break. And that break lasted forever. And when I say forever, for proper long. Forever. So, even while I was in the group, I released an album. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And in that time, I didn't have access to equipment. I couldn't make my own music. So I had great people on it. I don't start naming names, but shout out to them. They know. Yeah. They know. Yeah. And it took money to make music, I can imagine. It does. If you are releasing them days was 16-track albums. People still do that. Yeah. You have to pay for each track and the mix, and it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. So when I was coming around to do my second album, funny enough, Emmanuel Edwards in the group GK Real offered to do the whole album with me. So so my second album, Delayed But Not Denied, was all produced by him. Okay. It wasn't the best experience, okay? Because Emmanuel's got his own ideas of what he wanted me to be as an artist. Right. And I'm coming off my own album I did myself, put together myself. Yeah. I'm like, I kind of know where I want to go. Yeah. So there was a lot of compromising I had to do. Right. And it was a strenuous situation. Like, shout out to my brother, I will never put him down. We're good now, but it brought tension between both of them. Wow. So I was like, it was so discouraging. I wanted to quit music at that time. So this is 2012 when the album came out. I was ready to just say, I'm packing it in. Right. I've had a good run. Yeah. Time to do other stuff I'm doing, which was like the education things I was doing in schools already. So, but then I discovered how to make my own beats myself at that time. Okay. I found out how I can use this sampler drum machine. It's called iMachine. Okay. It has, so for those of you who are producers who are listening to this, you know about the MPC 3000, 2000. Yeah. You know about machine, the little drum machine with the pads that make the beats on. Yeah. So I found out an app that is the equivalent in your phone. Right. That is like the same software that can be in the actual physical thing. You have the phone with all the sounds and you can sample anything. And I had been learning how to use it. And I had been doing it in secret. I did not play my beats for anyone because I didn't think they would. But then one day I played it online. Yeah. I started loading it on SoundCloud. And a dope producer called Ghetto Ace. Yes, yeah. One of the producers I used to rate, and I still rate. He heard one of my beats and he was like, Karl, did you make this beat? I'm like, yeah, bruv. Yeah. I did. And he's like, it's good, And that was all I needed to hear. Oh. I started recording on my own beats, and I've been doing that ever since. I've released bare mixtapes, EPs, and a couple of albums along the way, and I have gathered a little audience around myself that like what I do, so I'm thankful for that. That's amazing. Well done. Well done. Yeah, well done. Thank you. No problem, because it's great to evolve as an artist, like sort of thing, and knowing what you want and being like, okay, I've had this experience with other producers, and now you found something that works for you, and you're running with it. Like, that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing. I mean, I've even been able to take it to another level. So obviously we've been going through the worldwide pandemic the last 2 years plus.
Yeah.
So there was a studio I used to go record in North London.
Yeah.
It's called Graphic Vision.
Okay.
And my guy who's held me down all these years as my studio engineer, his name is Giuliano.
Yeah.
Okay. So once the lockdown happened, he had to close his studio for a while, obviously.
Yeah.
Everything was locked down. So I was like, but I want to still record music.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy that knows how to mix my vocals and do all of that stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do it myself. So I got a brand new MacBook only for recording.
Yeah.
I loaded it up with Logic, and I'm like, I'm going to learn how to record.
Yeah.
So it took me the whole of lockdown just learning how to tweak, do this. I'm like, right, I can do this.
Yeah.
And during lockdown, I released like a little lockdown tape just to say, I'm learning. So now I record myself at home. I make the music, record, mix, and do it myself. This is where we're at.
Wow. You know, I like to circle back on like two things that you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Let's talk on all right, so you do traveling now in your education. How did you get into education? How did you get to all this traveling that you do?
Okay, so this is a deep thing I'm about to say.
Right.
So when I was about to drop my debut album, which is called Just As I Am, the prequel.
Yeah.
So it was coming out, let's say, April the 3rd, 2009.
Right.
Just as I was about to drop that album, I was about to go on tour with a wonderful artist called Lisa McClendon.
Okay.
We were about to do the GL Live tour of that time.
Yeah.
I got made redundant at work.
Damn.
Just like that. Like it was that recession time.
Yeah.
They just called me into a room and just said, we are letting you go.
Whoa.
Now, I live on my own. I paid my own bills. I need that job. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you. I was not happy doing that job. It was just what you have to do to survive. To keep yourself going, Like, nobody's going to come and pay your bills for you, fam. Yeah. If you don't pay your bills, you'll be on the streets. So, so that's where I was. So they made me redundant. They paid me out some money, which was going to hold me over for maybe, I don't know, a couple of months. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, I went on this tour. It was Isa, it was cool. You know, it's one of them tours where you don't get paid to do the tour. Yeah. It's more of exposure. If you could see me right now, I'm holding up my fingers. Exposure. Yeah. It's good for you to get exposure. It's like, fine. It's all good. I remember that tour was cool. Michaela Cole was on that tour. Vic Tizzle was on that tour. It was fun. It was good times. It was good times. Yeah. But then the tour ended and I'm like, what am I going to do now? Yeah. Like, and you know, things were hard. I was trying to get a new job. Things weren't happening. I was like, what am I going to do? Then a guy who I knew, his name is Breeze. He's a rapper. You know, he was like, so Karl, what are you up to these days? I'm like, listen, I just got made redundant from my job. Right. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Yeah. And he's like, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, listen, I just started this company called Student of Life, and I go into schools as a rapper, as an artist, and I do these workshops. Wow. And I didn't even know what that was. Like, I have never heard of this before. I've never had any artist visit a school I was in. Yeah. I've never known. I was like, so what does that even mean? And he was nice enough, and I will always give him credit for this. He was like, all right, shadow me and see what it's like. Right. So I remember the first time I went with him to a school, it was in Stockwell. Right. And it was like a primary school. And it's like, just sit in the corner, watch. And I was like watching, he's using his gift of being able to rap and poetry to talk to these students, getting them to write and create their own poems. And I was like, wow, is this amazing. What you do full time? Yeah. I cannot believe this. He was like, yeah. Then I followed him to another school. And I was like, bro, this is easy. I can kill this. He's like, are you sure, fam? I'm like, yeah. Then he said, all right, I'm going to give you half of the session to do next time. Right. So we go to this school. I think this was secondary school now. And he gives me half the session. And honestly, I winged it, freestyled it. But I didn't know what I was doing. Oh my God. It was, I was like, I knew I could do it, but I just didn't know how to do it. Yeah. I needed to create new material to use. All the stuff I was using from the albums I'd created before was just not going to work in this. So I asked him to please train me. Teach me, sensei. Teach me, sensei. For 6 months, you know, in movies when there's a montage, of like the master teaching the student, he's doing the push-ups, he's doing the jogging, he's punching the boards, he's trying to break, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to break a board. It was like that. 6 months later, I'd learned how to do it. I'd created new material. And he started booking me to do this. So from the end of 2009 onwards, I was working with him, going all over the country, more or less. But then it got to 2015. This is how life happens. And I'm just going to keep it real with you because I want you to know the truth. Right. So this is what happened. A new organization I'd never heard of called Authors Abroad needed a last-minute replacement to go to the school. So let's say tomorrow somebody just pulled out. And today they're calling me like, can you fill in for this person who pulled out? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. This is what I've been doing since 2009. This is 2015. Put me in the game. Anyway, I go to the school in Lewisham, and you have rare days as an artist when you are on fire. Yes. When you are just smashing it. Yeah. I don't know what happened to me that day, but man felt like Shakespeare of hip hop. I don't know. I just smashed it. And from that day, Authors Abroad were like, you did so well in that school. We got so much feedback of your performances, of how you ran the workshops. You really inspired these young people. We have more work for you if you're interested. And I was like, of course. And they started booking me to do more. But then funny enough, as they were booking me to do more, this person who I was working with in Student of Life kind of called me up and more or less just drops me and terminates my work with him. And I don't fully know till this day why. I don't want to go into that too much, but that's fine. I did nothing wrong. Anyway, Authors Abroad had taken me under their wing and they were just giving me jobs to do. In fact, they even sent me out of the country. The first time I ever went out of this country to do this type of work was via them. Then they started, we have a publishing arm of our company called Kaboodle Books. Are you interested in writing a book? Now, at that time, the idea of a book was scary. I'd seen my mentor at the time from Student of Life do it. And he was like, you could write a book. And I had written like 3 or 4 pages. But a book, though, that's a commitment. Yes. What if it, like, you put a book out there, what if it flops? Like, these are the things I was running through my mind. But they were like, Karl, anywhere we've sent you to, they like you. I think a book would work. We will partner up 50-50 to release this. You put up half of the money, we put up half of the money. And because we are Authors Abroad, we have connections all over the world, in the literary world, as well as education. We believe this could happen. So you know what? I wrote this book all through 2016. And it came out in 2017. And when I say I was not ready for how amazingly successful this was, I never dreamed I would win a national award. I won this thing called, my first book won this thing called the Clipper Poetry Prize. And I won in a category with a legend. There's a guy called John Agard.
Okay.
He's a legend in the literary world in this country. There are other people that were in that category. People like Joe Coelho, people like Sarah Crossan. These are people who have written many books and have been out here winning awards, killing it. And here I am with the first book I wrote, which is called Rhythm and Poetry. It won. It was at the National Theatre. I will never forget that day forever. They gave me this trophy. And they gave me a fat check.
Wow.
They took me to the BBC. I got interviewed on the BBC. I got to do things like Blue Peter. It was just nuts. Got to meet like mayors, got to meet people. I'm like, I can't believe this.
Right.
Like, what is going on? So from there, they started booking me to go around the world. Like I've toured China, Mongolia, Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, Luxembourg.
Goodness.
I mean, I'm like in demand at this point to do all this stuff. So yeah, all I do is I go in there, I perform. Sometimes it could be a festival, sometimes it could be a school, and then you just communicate with them what poetry is to you and inspire them in their creative writing and reading. And because I've got so much material now, as a result of having not just one book, but 2 books, I have enough material to use in these settings. But it works not just for kids. I do primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, universities, corporate functions. It's like I'm an artist in this world. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey doing this thing. I never imagined. I mean, okay, I'm not trying to blow my own horn.
Blow it.
2020, I got awarded something I never knew existed called the Ruth Rendell Award for Services to Literacy. It's a big deal. They just called me up one day and were like, we are going to give you this award. I'm like, we've been in lockdown. They were like, you never stopped doing it. Because even though there was lockdown, I was streaming online, doing this thing. I was working with young people in China, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, all over the world from my house, performing from my living room and running workshops. And I was working with the Premier League. I worked with the Premier League through 2020 into 2021 on a special project as well. So they gave me this award from nowhere. Couldn't believe it. This is a big deal. And I'm like, wow. I'm just a rapper guy that found the connection between rapping and poetry and just being a writer. That is my thing.
Wow. So being a hip hop artist, being an author, being an educator, being a producer, like, is there anything else that you see yourself doing? Like, because you've achieved so much and it's amazing. Like, do you see anything else that you feel you can do?
Well, I'm thinking of getting into theater, you know. People have been telling me, you know, have you considered acting before? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen someone like a Michaela Cole go from being a spoken word poet,
artist, to
writing her own TV shows and doing acting, because she's done like actual stage shows as well. So I'm like, could that be for me? So that is what I'm looking into at the moment.
For anyone who wants to connect with you, learn more from you, where can we find you, like, on socials?
All right. So if it's socials, everything is at Karl Nova, KarlNova. It doesn't matter if it's Twitter, doesn't matter if it's Instagram, even TikTok these days. I've got a TikTok account where, if you're curious to actually see what it's like when I go into like a institute of education, you can see me in my travels on my TikTok especially. But everything else, like books and all, just go to karlnovaworld.com. karlnovaworld.com, all one word. But if it's just socials, at Karl Nova, I'm easy to find.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Karl, it's been wonderful talking with you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been checking your show out. I'm like, I want to be part of this. That's my tune as well. So I'm happy. Listen, I'm proud of you even, because I know you apart from the show. And I know your journey, but I'm not going to go into that. That's not for now. But you know what I'm talking about. So I'm proud of you. And everybody listening to this show supports her. She's one of the best creative people I've met on my creative journey. So talented in so many ways. I don't even know if the people listening to your show understand your levels, but I'm not going to spill your beans. Let them go look for themselves. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was a great conversation with Karl Nova. Thank you so much for your time. If you'd like to know more about this podcast, you can find all the information at linktr.ree/TMT_podcast. You'll find Spotify, YouTube, and all the social media. And if you'd like to email, it's that'smytunepodcast@gmail.com. Tell your friend, tell your family member, tell your cat's cousin to listen to this really cool podcast that interviews great people like Karl Nova, that breaks down songs the way I like it, you know, what I like and all the rest of it, you know. And like, subscribe, share. If you like an interview, holler, see what we can do. Do you know what I mean? So enjoy this episode on all the other 64 that's been before, and I'll be back with another episode soon. Ciao.